Welcome to DowerChin.com. Today we're going to be taking a look at another tablet. This is the Toshiba Encore 2 Write. And what this is a 10-inch tablet with a Wacom pen. So I'm excited to see what this is like. Now supposedly this uses a newer pen technology, and Toshiba says that their pen will give 2048 levels of pressure. So we'll give it a good go and see what it's like. Now I want to mention that they do have two versions of this, a 10-inch and an 8-inch. Now once again, this is the 10-inch. The 8-inch one, there's not a whole lot of difference other than size, because the specs are pretty much the same between the 8 and 10. So you're paying $50 extra for a slightly bigger tablet. So we'll open it up and put some stuff on it and give it a go. Alright, so let's open it up. Alright, so we have a bundle of documentation. This is the signature edition I picked up from the Microsoft store, so it should have no bloatware and just Windows itself. Got the here. Alright, here's a tablet. And a really big sticker here on back. So let's see what else we get in here. Alright, here, look, here's the pen. Now what's interesting about this pen, compared to, say, the other Wacom type of pens, is actually this has a battery. And this is a quad A battery. So now some folks have mentioned that these don't exist. They do exist, folks. This is a quad A. Look, there's 4 A's. So this is sort of like the N-Trig. It actually requires a quad A battery. But here's a pen here with the battery. So what else we get? Anything else? Let's see. We get we have a lanyard. Looks like a set of lanyards made for the pen. We have the little charger and a USB to micro USB adapter, probably for the charger as well. So, all right. So we'll once again look at all the stuff we get here. Let's take a look at the tablet real quick. As I pry this gigantic sticker off the back. There's a big sticker. Alright, so what do we see here? Alright, it's a nice silver color, so it's not white, but it's kind of a silver color, which is really nice. Toshiba branding, Intel sticker. It's got a camera on the side here. And looking around the tablet, we have Windows key, volume up and down, and power. And you have the front-facing camera here. And a little sticker here that says Feel Wacom. So this actually has a Wacom labeling on it, so you know that this is a Wacom. Looking around the side here, we have a little slot here, which I found interesting. This is where the pen actually slips in, which is kind of cool. So it holds the pen this way. Holds it quite well, which is quite interesting. So unlike any other things where the pen's a sizable pen, so it feels good in the hand. It doesn't, because of that, it doesn't have any place to sit inside the thing. So it kind of clips onto the outside. And then we have, let's see, looks like the speaker on one end, less speaker on the other side, headphone jack, looks like a micro SD card adapter, and I believe it's a micro HDMI, and here is the micro USB connector on the side here. So alright, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to boot it up, configure it, get it on the network, load some apps on it, and let's give it a go. Okay, before I dive into looking at the tablet, one of my subscribers suggested that I kind of show what it's like for me to really write and what my handwriting looks like and see how well it translates into a digital device. And that's a very good point, because obviously my handwriting might be not the same as yours, and handwriting tends to be a really interesting challenge for tablets because ultimately it becomes a test of tracking. So let's do some writing for here. So I'm going to basically write some script here. I don't have the best handwriting, but I'll print it. Alright, so not the greatest handwriting. As you can see, that's how my handwriting kind of looks like. I'll do some doodles over here. So, alright, some real cheesy examples of some doodles on regular paper. So let's see how well that translates over to using the tablet. So I'll turn this guy on and get this logged in here. Alright, so we will use, first things first, we'll just pop over good old sketchbook. And I was kind of goofing around with it earlier. I will make a new document, and I was actually in a different mode. So let me move things around. Alright, well, let's just leave that for a moment, and we'll talk about the pen. Now, it does come with a little cap. I put the battery in already. Now I can put this in the back here. Now, unlike other Wacom type pens, the back of the pen does not act as an eraser. It's just there. The eraser will be dependent upon the software that uses it. Now, the interesting thing I'll say right now is I've never really seen a Wacom-enabled tablet that ever came with Wacom feel drivers. It was really kind of funny. You know, most of the manufacturers are relying on the standard Windows drivers for the tablet setup. But like, if I were to go to the control panels and go to the devices, hardware and sound here, and look, typically you'll see the pen and touch and tablet PC settings, which are part of the Windows system. However, notice that I have a Wacom pen setting over here, and that's actually the Wacom drivers, and you have to get those separately. So it's not hard to get. It's just an optional step that you have to do, which they don't do for you. So with it, if you're to run it, if you've ever used a Wacom tablet before, there's a lot more settings you can use. Obviously, you can change the firmness of the tip between soft and firm. You can basically change the buttons. So like the erase could be the bottom button or the top button of the pen or tablet PC defined, or you can change it to something like right click if you wanted to. There's options for a radial menu that comes up, and you can calibrate the pen. So the drivers aren't essential, but they're kind of nice because they give you some more options that may not be available otherwise. So that's something that I would highly recommend you do if you get one of these first. Alright, so we will use Sketchbook here. I will change the color to blue like I had before, and I'm going to lower this down so I can get a little closer to the screen. Alright, so pardon the vibrations there. So alright, so I'm going to move things around a little bit to kind of get things in a better position. Let's get this over here and put this back over here. Alright, oops, undo that. Alright. Alright, so we'll use the standard pencil tool over here, and we'll basically start writing. So if you can see from there, it actually did a pretty good job, actually quite an impressive job of keeping up with my handwriting. So if I were to dig out this little notebook I had over here, it kind of comes close. I must admit the pen on this is really quite impressive. And this is what sets this one apart from a lot of the other ones out there, is because this actually uses Wacom's Active ES technology for their pen, which I guess is new, and my understanding is Toshiba is the only one so far that actually has this. And with the extra battery that's in here, the pen tracks a lot closer, or a lot more accurately, and much more smooth than anything I've used to date, which is saying quite a lot, because I've used a lot of tablets out there, and this one really does do an incredible job of keeping up with me. It can be fast or it can be slow. And obviously one of the big tests you can do with this is, let me choose a little darker color here, darker hue, is the straight line test or the angled line test. So if you were to basically, if I were to move this over, draw a straight line, this does a jiggle, it does a little bit of a jiggle. That's probably never going to go away, but it does a fine job though. Of course, if I go fast, it almost becomes irrelevant. But you know, this pen is really, really impressive. So spec-wise, we're talking about what this thing is, and for the most part, it is a Toshiba Encore 2. Pretty much shares the exact same setup, with the exception of the fact that it's got the pen and a little slot for the pen to go into, which I found is it can be a little bit problematic. Obviously, if you have the cap taken off and on the back like I have here, the pen tip is floating around and this kind of juts out to the side. It is a little bit of an afterthought because I have actually pried this a little bit off accidentally, because you really don't have this one little edge that really, this little clip is the only thing that kind of keeps it on. It's better than nothing because obviously the tablet itself is too narrow to actually basically have the pen inside it. It's actually quite thick in comparison. So the pen is actually thicker than the tablet. So really is not really much of a chance for you to be able to stick it in there. So having it on the side is I like that it's better than nothing. I didn't put the little lanyard in. There's a loop over here for the lanyard down here that you could tie to it if you want to have a string attached to it. I'm not really particularly fond of doing such a thing, so I did not do that. So we're talking about specs real quick. This machine is typical of most of the smaller Windows tablets that have been floating out there. The processor is an Atom 3735F, which is sort of like the middle of the line Atom quad-core processor by Intel, and you have 2 gigabytes of memory in here. So it's not really a powerhouse machine, but you can run programs like Photoshop. So let's just get out of this real quick. Go back and we will run Photoshop. So I put Photoshop on here. And it will run. And once it's in, oops, I didn't want to do that. I want to maximize it. Maximize that, close that, and we will simply open a new document. And I'll just use a 7x5 inch 300 dpi image. And there I have it. So I have the pencil tool selected over here. Their default 2B pencil. We'll just play around with that real quick then. So I can zoom in. I can still use it. I can twist the canvas. So those gestures are available. I can basically start drawing. So if I actually choose the right icon, not tap the time thing to come up, I can start drawing. And I can zoom in, zoom out, twist the canvas, move it around, and it does work for the most part, so no major issues with using it. So it works fine on the device here. So you can actually run Photoshop. So it has enough juice to run Photoshop without a problem. And of course Sketchbook Pro runs just fine. I put Art Rage on here as well. So I kind of loaded up with different art programs. The one interesting one someone introduced me to was made by Mischief, which is, I got the free version on here right now. So I'm kind of playing around with this, and it does work well with this program. So yeah, that's a good program made for drawing. So I can zoom in, draw some more over here for something else, zoom back out, or zoom in more. So one of the big things about Mischief is that it claims to have an infinite canvas. You can kind of go in, draw some more down here, and move in here and draw some more down here, and so you can have kind of like an infinite canvas, which is kind of cool. So the program works quite nicely. So this can handle those programs just fine. The resolution of the screen is 1280 by 800, so it's not an HD display. Having said that, though, it's a nice display. It has pretty good clarity, and my brightness is turned all the way up, and it's got pretty good viewing angles as well. So it's not too bad when you're looking at it. So it's quite a nice tablet. The cameras are I believe let's see, what was it? I think it was an 8 megapixel back and a 1.5 megapixel front. I don't really pay too much attention to those cameras because I don't really use them a whole lot, but they're okay. They do the job. I don't think they're anything really to write home about. There's nothing really special about the cameras, but the real reason why I buy this is really for this pen. The 8-inch one is pretty much the same. The only difference really with the 8-inch versus the 10-inch is just the size of the tablet, because the resolution is the same, the specs are all the same. It's just literally just the sizing of the device. Let's see. What else can we look at? Though, I want to make a note about the speakers. The speakers are actually pretty good. There's 2 speakers on the sides here, so it actually can pump out some good volume. Although I have heard them kind of crackle a bit with some of the Windows sounds. So let's see if we get this come up. So this tone sounds kind of tinny. It doesn't really sound as great, but it serves its purpose. So it does work. And you have full Windows 8.1 32-bit on here, so that's important because if you're installing programs like Sketchbook Pro, there's a 32-bit and 64-bit flavor of the program, so you have to keep that in mind. So we'll just run Art Rage real quick, and we'll close that program out so that we get some free up some memory there. So Art Rage is here. You can run Art Rage. Choose the pencil tool, for example, and start sketching away. If I could pick something other than green. Oops, I'm going to do that. Oh, I was goofing earlier. I actually turned the gestures off, so it's kind of weird. So undo that. Undo that. There we go. All right, the gestures are not working for me. I think I was fooling around with it, so pardon me for that. So I'll just kind of draw. So now the pressure, you can see as I draw harder, press harder on the screen, it gets dark. Or I go real light, I can get real light lines on this as well. And for those that you might not realize, there is palm rejection. My palm is right on here, so it's really kind of cool. So as an artist tablet, I think right now this is an incredible tablet. Just the pen really sets this thing apart from anything that's on the market right now. This is once again the newer Wacom Active ES technology. It is not their standard old style EMR technology. So, for example, if I were to dig out my Surface Wacom pen from my Surface Pro 1, it doesn't work. It doesn't register at all. So it is strictly a new thing. Now, the interesting thing is whether or not other companies will pick up on using this technology or not. But right now, Toshiba is the only one in town that has this. So if you're in the market for a tablet for drawing, it's really hard to beat how good this one is. So once again, the machine is relatively low powered machine, but it'll run just about all the drawing programs out there just fine. And the stylus, this is it. This is what you buy it for, because it's hard to beat how good this thing is. So and I've used a lot, and for me to say it's really good is definitely saying something. So if you have any questions about this or something you want to see that I've not shown, please feel free to send me a note, subscribe, and let me know what you think. So thanks for watching.